Hey, good morning, everyone. Hello, it's Friday. It's Grocery Trash to Treasure Day. I love the theme days. I hope you guys do too. So much fun. Puts a little bit of a creative spin on some of the things we're going to present. So today is going to be full of people crafting, recycling, repurposing, upcycling. And every 30 minutes today, there is a new crafter on. So we've already been going this morning, so say hello when you're popping in. Hello, welcome, welcome. Tell me where you're watching from. Say hello. Tell me what you love to paint. We're going to paint this morning, even in our 30-minute session. Good morning, Gwen. Thank you guys all for popping in. Have you been watching Sherry's idea right before me with the little holder for the cell phone? What a fabulous idea. I know I'm always trying to clear off my counters, and that's I might make one of those too. So I'm a painter in acrylics. I teach people how to paint. I teach beginners how to paint. Hey, Maria from Ontario. Yeah, let me know where you're watching from. I'm coming to you from the coast of Maine this morning. I'm in kind of like a little high speed. Hi, Sharon, because I know I only have 30 minutes. And Cynthia, good morning. Well, like I said, I've been watching some great crafters this morning, and you have a whole day ahead of you. So pop in, stay tuned, and watch what everyone's doing. Hey, Charlotte, good morning, my friend. And Sharon, I just said good morning. Good morning again. Mary Beth. So what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to make a postcard. I made a bookmark postcard. I'm going to make a postcard out of a Triscuit box, any cardboard box, cereal box, whatnot. So what I did is I took it apart. I cut along the edges, which gave me a perfect size here for a bookmark. And then I printed out. So I searched online for a free postcard template. So all I did was print it out right on my regular, hey Cindy from Webster, just printed it out on regular paper, and that guided me for the size. So I took my cutout piece of board and I cut it to the size of the template. So what I came up with was this. So what I did first, I'm going to show you my steps I did to get to this step so that we could paint. So just Googled free postcard template, cut up my Triscuit box. Now we have all the writing on it and whatnot, so I gessoed, so I cut it up to the size of the template. But I put 2 or 3 coats of gesso before, so I gessoed both sides. I didn't gesso this side, and can you see, you can almost see the box through it a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal, but it kind of bugged me, so I went back and did gesso on both sides. And then I just used my Mod Podge to adhere the postcard bit on. Just used gesso for the base coating. I used about 2 or 3 coats. Nice soft brush. And then adhered this with Mod Podge, and I put Mod Podge over it as well, just to give me a little bit of surface for writing. So here we are with just a Mod Podge finish. No, sorry, gessoed finish. Same on the bookmark. So the bookmark looked like that to start, gessoed, and then I painted it. And it's great because even some smaller boxes come with little side strips or top strips that are perfect for bookmarks. And this is what it looked like just with the gesso. And then I just simply cut out my template and decoupage it on. So that's where we are at this point. I sketched on a little design. I wasn't sure what to paint. Hey, Cheryl. So I was having my glass of wine last night, and look, there was a mermaid. So I said, you know what, it's that time of year. I've been wanting to do some more mermaids. I love painting mermaids. So I sketched out this little mermaid. I've painted so many of them, I just sort of sketched them out. And I simply painted that in, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that today. We're going to have a little time. I'm just pulling myself up on my computer so I can make sure that you can see what I'm working on. Let me move this out of the way and this out of the way so you have a little better view. You could certainly find a design or trace a design on. You don't have to sketch it on. And I used my just regular, ordinary craft acrylics. So whatever you have, use. It could be the tube, the heavy body, the liquid, fluid, whatever you have. I picked some bright colors that I liked because I wanted this to be fun. I painted her in, and then I used my Posca markers to do that white detailing. And then I even put some glitter because I just have fun sometimes. I used the Twinkles Deco Art. Thought a little glitter would be good. I didn't have any jewels around. I would maybe put a little jewel on there, but I did not have that. So I know I went through that fast, And I know we only have 30-minute segments, so if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will answer them. If not now, I will come back. And again, welcome to my segment on Craft Round the Clock, as well as I'm on my Tinker's Cart Art page where you can find me for any kind of painting information and tutorials, same as on YouTube and all of the socials. So good morning. Hi, Dawn. Okay, so I've got my sketch. I've got just some colors out. I took out, like I said, some bright colors, some teal, some pretty summer colors. Just my little acrylic, inexpensive craft brushes. You don't need anything special. I've got some flats and some rounds. I only used a couple of brushes for this, really. I'm going to start with my flat just to get the background on. Let me know if you can see me. I think you can. I'm looking at myself here in the video. So I'm going to start with the dark blue and just work through my different shades of blue, kind of like it's a little underwater scene. And I want to pull, I like to have my palette so you can kind of see what I'm grabbing for colors. So I've got just a dark blue, probably an ultramarine, a primary blue, anything. I'm working kind of quick. I'm going to work from the top to the bottom and be working quick so that I could blend right into the next shade of blue without having to worry if the paint's dried. I'm working a little quick. I'm not even going to worry. I might just dry off my brush on my paper towel, go into the little bit lighter shade of blue. Not a big difference, but just a little. And then we're going to go into some teal. I love teals and pinks together. So we're giving our mermaid pink hair. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, everybody popping on. Say hello and let me know where you're from. And if you are a painter or a crafter, I love to encourage all creatives to not be afraid to paint or draw or sketch. No, it's not something you have to be born with. No, you don't have to draw a straight line. No, don't worry about if you can't paint people. I take people through the steps, step by step, very easily. And I love to see people discover their hidden talents. So can you see I'm sort of just blending it as I go. And I'm not worrying. It doesn't even have to be a good blend because of all the little doodads we're putting on with the white. Just do a kind of a quick job and just go down the background. I'm using my flat brush. I know it looks wide, but these are great because I can get a big area filled in. And then if I need a little area like in here or here, I can use it on the chisel edge. So I'm not going to be switching back and forth to tiny brushes. For now, I'm going to just use my heavy brush there. A little more teal on this side. She would be cute with any color hair, really, as well. So let me keep on going here. It looks like there's a little glitch with the Wi-Fi, but it should be okay. Wi-Fi's been a little spotty for everyone, I think. There we go. Okay, I'm going to switch into now the darker blue again because I'm wet and wet. I'm just blending as I go. And like I said, sometimes I just wipe off the excess color here and use just the dry brush to blend. So much fun. What do you guys like to paint or craft now? I know we're in summer and I love to finally do all the summer things because here in Maine, I think summer just came. And I know weather's been wacky everywhere, but we have been in such a rainy pattern, but we've had a nice week so far and the outlook looks fabulous, so I'm excited. But I know there's lots of places that would be just absolutely so appreciative of the rain, but it's, like I said, been super hot down for some of you guys and stormy and crazy. Even Massachusetts, we had tornado warnings last week. It's been kind of crazy everywhere. So anyways, I'm still in summer mode. And I know that the fall and back to school stuff's out already. I can't even believe it. Like, I like to be ahead and I love Halloween more than anything and Christmas, but I just don't really want to paint it yet. I know I should and I will, but I'm just getting into summer, guys. So I'd love suggestions from you of what you might like to see me paint. If you have any suggestions, little tutorials. I love popping on live with you and painting. Christy, you should put it on your bucket list. I love Maine. I'm only on the very southern coast, and my real Maine friends say I'm really in New Hampshire still or Mass, but I love it. And I'm traveling up tomorrow for a plein air event up in Pemaquid, where the lighthouse, one of many lighthouses is. I do love plein air painting. I'm a big plein air painter. I love being outside and I love painting while I'm there. So look for updates about tomorrow's adventure. I'll be painting there all day. Hey, Janet, good morning. So this is my background. Very quickly put in. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a perfect blend because we are going to put some little details on top. So now I just want to fill my mermaid in. Lots of times when I paint, I work back to front. So if we did background, we'll do the mermaid in front. I go dark to light a lot of times. But for this one, it's just a little simple illustration. I'm going to paint her body first, and then I'm going to add on just the colors. So what I want to do now is base the colors in, just maybe 1 or 2 coats to get it covered, and then I add highlights and shadows. That gives the object form, and it looks 3D. That's how we get it from looking flat to looking rounded. And it's simply base coating in our colors. It's kind of like paint by number, this little part of it. And I am just base coating in the colors and trying not to put my hand in the paint and spread it around. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so we'll get her little hand and her arm here. I didn't get too detailed. I just will put some features on her face. Don't worry if you're not like everyone's intimidated by painting people. Don't make it that way. Just look at it as shapes and lights and darks, and forget about that you're painting a face, and you'll be surprised. It kind of comes along that way. Like I said, she's going to have pink hair. I thought that would pop nicely from the blue background. And it takes a little bit for it to dry, so we'll give it a minute. So I'm just going to rinse my brush and go to all my colors. Put on 1 base coat to start. So what do you think? Can we do this in 30 minutes? We have 20 minutes left or so. And it's always a challenge, and it's always fun because I love a challenge. And we always finish up. So I feel bad speeding through that prep part, but you can get the gist of that. Taking any old piece of cardboard you find and turning it into something useful and cool. All right, pink hair. I painted this one last night, and then I found I had some neon pink paint, so I put some neon pink on top, which I love the way that pops. So we're going to do that again. We're going to paint it pink, her hair, and then we're going to shade it and highlight it, but then we will add some pops of that neon. That's the only neon paint I have right now. I see people using it, so I wanted to pick some up. I really like it. I'll have to pick up a few more colors. Her hair's just kind of flowing around in the water, so you can just kind of make it. It doesn't have to be a perfect shape. You're just going to kind of bring that hair down, and it can just be free form. Let's do this side. Actually, I didn't put a little starfish on her. I was going to put a little starfish on her in her hair. We can if we have time. And I will finish this up if we don't get it perfectly finished and take pictures. So you can come back anytime on the pages and see the replays. So you don't have to worry about memorizing what I'm doing or painting along. Isn't it fun just to watch sometimes? Even if I'm in the car, I sometimes just have the Facebook on, not watching it, but just listening to the crafters. It's just so inspiring. And to see the variety of crafts and artists and creatives on Craft Around the Clock, I'm so excited to be part of it. I'm so thrilled. I have so much fun painting with you all, and it's a fabulous community. I would love for you to hop on over there and follow if you don't, because it's really fun. Whenever you have a minute, you can just pop on, see what people are doing. Like I said, got her body painted in. I put some pink hair. I'm doing a little seashell bathing suit here in kind of a peachy salmon. I call it salmon, but it's more like a peachy color. And I'm doing it pretty rough. I'm not being super careful. Sometimes if you can be a little looser, it's more whimsical and more fun. Oh, what did I use for? Oh, I used this green I didn't get out. It's kind of almost a tealy green for her tail. So what's everybody up to this weekend? I can't wait to be out painting tomorrow. It starts at like 10, ends at 5, and what a plein air event is you go in the morning, you have your canvases either stamped or certified somehow so they know you painted that day, and then you go off and you paint all day, and you come back with your finished paintings, usually in the afternoon, 3 or so. They're all wired and ready to hang, and there's usually a little exhibit, and the paintings are for sale, and it's a great group. Is talking about creative communities. It's just a great creative community of painters outdoors, enjoying the fresh air, sometimes the rain, sometimes the snow. Nana's Crafty. Hi. I am painting on a Triscuit box. So I'm making it into a postcard. And I also did one as a bookmark. So I cut up the Triscuit box, gessoed it on both sides, 2 or 3 coats, get a pretty good coverage. And then I just searched on the internet for a free postcard template, printed that out, Mod Podged that on, and painted on, I'm painting on the other side. So we've got all our colors here now. But I do like to put a second coat because I know the acrylic paint's a bit streaky. And we are going to shade and highlight on top of it. So if there's a little bit of the background showing through, that's okay. But I would like to have it just a little bit more coverage. So I'm just going to quickly go right back over because my paint's dry already. And put on a second coat. And then I'm going to show you how I shade and highlight and embellish. And I've done some different mermaids. If you take a look at my socials, you'll see I have a Freedom mermaid, which was so fun to paint. I have lots of different little mermaids. And actually, I'm going to go on and do another. I was thinking about mermaids lately. And I'm going to go on and do some more mermaids too. So keep an eye on my socials. And there. So another coat of the body. And I'm going to give her a quick coat on the hair. When I'm doing these second coats, I'm not as precise in particular. I'm just getting the majority of the area filled in. Here's another thing. I know the biggest problem a lot of my people in my community have is they don't feel like they have time to sit down and paint or craft. And it takes so long to get ready and whatnot. So if you, on my website, I have some blogs about this subject, about your studio space and how little you really need. And think about how little time. So we all go on every day, usually 45 minutes, today 30, and we do pretty complete projects. So that should show you that you don't have to spend hours at something. You want it to be fun. So try to cut out even 20, 25 minutes a day, even if it's just sitting down and sketching or crafting something. I just would love to encourage people to do that, because I'm the same way sometimes. I'm in a couple of other memberships and workshops and different things, and we had a challenge recently of painting for 20 minutes a day or so. And I really sat down and did it because I said, well, I don't really have time today, but I can spare 20 minutes. And I'd sit down in that 20 minutes, and it was shocking at how much I could do if I really just carved that small bit of time out. So I encourage you to try to just set up a little corner somewhere. Doesn't have to be a big setup. And have your supplies handy and just sit down. And even if it's just sitting down and looking for inspiration, making a little sketch, making a little plan, getting all your supplies organized, that really helps me if I'm in a kind of a quandary. I just organize all my supplies in my studio space, and that really gets me to get excited about sitting down to paint. All right, so same thing, just the second coat. And now I'm going to just work on her face. Now, I know it's intimidating for people. I've done little tutorials and segments about painting super simple people. Adding little simple people to your paintings does not have to be a full-blown detailed portrait. It's simply shapes. A little oval for a face, triangle for the torso, little stick legs, throw some little colors or clothes, a little hat, throw some hair on there. And from a distance, it really reads as a person, so let's not be too worried. I painted a lot of faces, little simple ones like this, so I do know it looks a little easier for me. But I'm just going to take and make up a little bit of a darker shade to give my shadow, just a little shadow under the chin here. And I gave her a really long neck, I didn't mean to, but, and if there's someplace where it might need a shadow, sometimes around the bathing suit top, I give a little shadow around the nose. I'm going to hold this up for you across the top of the eye. And I go over this a little bit, sometimes under the hairline. So what I'm starting with is simply these little bits. I know it looks kind of weird, but simply a little shadow, not too dark, very close to the skin color. Look it's already forming a face, right? That's sort of a little guide for me, that little bit. Then I go and make a highlight. So how I make things have form and give it 3D, like I said, is highlight and shading. With acrylics, it's a little harder sometimes because you can't really get a soft blend unless you work quickly. So I try to work wet and wet, like I did with the water. Sometimes I just take a wash of color if the paint's dry, and I just do a little wash. This I did sort of wet and wet. I'm taking that the shade I used for her body and mixing it with some white just to get a little lighter shade. Now, because the nose, I make it a little lighter. I just kind of form a little nose there. I actually made it too light and it looks kind of weird, so I'm gonna darken it up a little bit. Maybe on the bottom of the chin a little lighter because the chin's in front of the neck. maybe on top of the arms. Just a little bit of a highlight here and there. Maybe the middle of the belly because the sides would be shaded a little bit. And just a few little light strokes starting to bring that alive. I love to give them little rosy cheeks. So I just mixed a little of the pink in with my flesh color, give her 2 rosy cheeks. And then it's just a few little lines for details. We're not going to be painting whole eyeballs and irises and pupils. We would if she was big. But we're just going to put little dabs of color, a little dark for under the nose, a couple little lips, and she'd be good to go. So I'm going to just use my burnt sienna, and I'm going to put a little line at the bottom of her nose. I'm going to put 2 little, like just where her eyelids will go. Just little bits to start. Oh, a little mouth, so I'll just use pink, and I usually just make a little heart shape. It's just a little heart shape for a mouth, like a little rosebud mouth. And I'm going to just daub in 2 dots of blue for eyes. And you could do that with a toothpick if you feel like you can't get a nice little circle. I do need to give her a pink eyebrows. So let's do that. And then her face comes alive. She needs a little bit of a white highlight in her eyes. All the eyes usually need a little highlight, but I can't really do that until her eyes dry. And her nose is bugging me, so she's going to get a tiny bit of plastic surgery right now, just because her nose is a little big. So she's going to get a little plastic surgery here. And give that a little highlight. Okay. She'll get some little highlights in her eyes, but there she is. Quick little face. Look at from a distance where people are going to look for it. It's fine. Remember, you're painting it here and you're super judgmental and you're looking at every tiny little thing. Nobody looks at it there. You look at it far, far away. So step way back from your paintings, even on little bits like this. Okay, so I'm going to just speed through it a little bit. I'm going to just take some light pink and just give her hair a little hairdo. I'm just taking little strokes of light pink and just making those hair strokes. You could go right out over what you painted, make it kind of just to give it a little bit of look of hair. We're going to go back over that with the Posca marker after anyway, so just get some strokes on there of hair. And now I think I will go in with that super bright neon pink because I love the way that popped. And I'm going to put some of that on. And then I will give her some scales on her tail. I just kind of curve these. I imagine what the hairdo looks like, how I want the hairdo to be. When I'm doing hair, generally I will work from bottom to top so everything lays correctly. But she doesn't have a lot of details. So look at those bright pink, those neon pinks. So cool, right? A little shading on the little shell on her bathing suit. Again, we're going to outline with the white, so it's not really important. I'm just taking a little lighter shade. As you see, I paint an object. I mix that color pretty much with white to get my highlights. So I'm just going to make that look a little more like a shell just by putting those little ridges in there. Oh, a belly button. She needs a little belly button. And then the scales. The scales, I'm going to use a little round brush. Start at the bottom and just kind of build them up. They don't have to be much. I'm just going to go with that lighter teal color. And I'm just going to go along and kind of layer those scales. I'm doing it in the teal. It doesn't show up a lot, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I can maybe mix that teal with a little white. You see how I'm just layering them up? Now, if I was doing a big mermaid or even a small one that didn't take just 30 minutes, I would probably get a little more involved with different shades and maybe use some shimmery colors. But I'm going to mix that teal with some light now and just do a little bit here and there to make that pop a little bit. Well, I hope everybody has some fun weekend plans. Let me know what you're all up to. I always find it great to see what all my peeps are doing. I put these little bits there. So now we just got the little fin. And I'm just going to put these little fins, I'm just going to put a few little, because we're not going to see that much. It's going to be having the white detail. So that's basically our little mermaid. So now I'm going to take my Posca markers, which I absolutely love. They're paint markers. Some have a brush tip, some are just the marker. And there's actually paint in here, so you can shake it up. You can hear that little metal ball shaking that up. And for the background, I kind of had fun just doing these little crisscrossy things. And actually, I did it with my brush one. I love that Posca has a brush marker. And I only did that in the bottom. You could do whatever you want. You could put little fish, little seahorse. That's what I probably would do if I was spending more time. Put some little sea creatures in there. So, and then I love spirals. So now I'm just going to take my Posca marker and make a bunch of spirals. It can almost be like sort of water bubbles. I think I did them actually first with my marker, my brush marker. And all I do is press down and spiral out, press down, spiral out. I guess I like the way it looks with the brush marker a little more than the harsh edge of the regular marker. So I think I did some like this. And then went back and did a few with the harsher edge with the marker. And wouldn't it be fun to get a postcard? Like everything's email now. Wouldn't it be fun to actually get a postcard or something in the mail? So that's how I do my background. I just go along and give these little spirals. But dots are fun too. So then I dot a lot of places. And then when I get to my mermaid, she gets a couple little white highlights in her eyes because that brings her alive. Anything you're painting, people, animals, a little white highlight in the eye. And then I sort of just use this to do a little outlining. So I would outline my mermaid, and I would, these little lines I have on the tail here. This is just the fun decorative part. And Posca markers come in all colors. So you could be doing a lot of this with the marker if you're more comfortable with that. So I know I painted in the scales, but then I sort of go along with the marker and kind of just go over it. The hair is a little wet. I'm not going to go too much into it because if you're using your markers, your paint markers, remember, and Sharpies even, make sure your painting is really, really dry before you attempt to touch it with a marker because it will seize the marker right up. But I would just go and I'm going to go on the edge where it's dry and on her little shells here, I would outline them. But again, they're a little wet. I don't want to seize up my marker. I'm going to just show you the finished product here, because we have 2 whole minutes left. So here's where we are on our mermaid, but she's coming along, right? Postcard on the back from a Triscuit box. And here's my little finished bookmark. And I just did a little more detailing. I went over most of it, except for her features and her skin. I went over everything with my twinkles. And then I went over the whole thing with Mod Podge, just to finish it off. But you know what I would do, guys? I would probably, if I had all my supplies here, I would probably laminate these, or at least take clear contact paper and cover them. Wouldn't it be great on the back of the bookmarks to take some scrapbook paper, or you know what might be fun is a page of a book. So I do have a lot of old books and music sheets and that sort of thing to do mixed media with. So wouldn't it be cool to put a page of one of your, your little books on here? And then, like I said, I would probably laminate the bookmarks. You can even, I have a bookmark that I love, laminate your bookmark, punch a hole here with your hole punch, and put like a little tassel on it or some beads and things. Wouldn't that be cool? So I would probably do that if I had more than 30 minutes. But again, 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, you guys. So what you want to do is stay tuned for the next crafter. And if you don't see the next crafter come right on, I have to refresh my page usually. So wait a few seconds or a minute or so. Refresh your page, and you're going to see somebody new here in just about a minute. And that's all day long. So themed Fridays that we have sometimes here on Craft Around the Clock are so much fun. You'll see them on the schedule. So look at the page, follow along. And I am so excited. I feel like I finished early now, but I didn't really finish her. But she's coming. I'll finish her. And then I will post a picture, and I will post the replays. And I would love it if you look me up on all the socials. I'm there with a lot of free classes and tutorials. So I'm signing off. See the next crafter up in a second. Have fun. Thanks, guys, so much. I appreciate it.